Hello and welcome back to another presentation. We're going to do a Google Slides. And today's video is going to be on why court packing is awesome, okay? You might think, oh, but the court packing. No, you have to get the point, okay? Now, here's the thing. Court packing, in terms of Republicans, is a bad thing. But for liberals, it's a good idea. Now, think about it this way. We have the most recent example of this being 1937 Franklin Delano Roosevelt. In the past, he had to get certain legislation passed that was unconstitutional. And in order to avoid the court from stopping him of doing such things, he tried to pack the court with people that would agree with him as to then be able to do whatever the hell he wants. Okay? But he didn't get it done, and he lost a lot of political capital in doing so. But we can move on to the next point. All right? Political expediency. That's what matters in politics. Disregarding the principle because that's boring, we have to talk about why would you necessarily want to pack the court. Now, people will say, and the most obvious take would be that when you pack the court, when the other side wins and they take over the Senate, then they'll pack the court. That's true if the other person wins. I view it like sucker punching, right? Well, see, you shouldn't sucker punch someone because if somebody else does it to you, then it'll suck. And it's like, well, no, because if I get the hit first, then I win, right? And this is the whole point. Political expediency. The plan that is pushed by the Democrats, as far as I know, is adding 4 Supreme Court seats, which would be more in alignment with the 13th Circuit courts, right? So we have 9 justices right now, up from 7 from the 1800s, I think. And we did start out with, I think, 5, but I'm not sure. Anyways, the point is that they want to take it from 9 to 13. And right now the composition is about 6 conservatives, 3 liberals, and if you were to add 4 liberals, presumably under Biden, that would be 7 to 6. Okay, so at that point they would have a slight majority over the conservative contingent of the court, and that's important because I feel that when you typically have such a divisive court, then you're going to have a more liberal leaning one, honestly, because that's how things work. Now, I have a picture of Joe Biden, right, with certain people like Eric Holder, people that are pragmatic, aren't moral people, but they will get stuff done, right? And we have a person on the right, Niccolo Machiavelli, who has a philosophy that is very much based on cutthroat pragmatism and not principle and not moral, really, unless you think about it in a certain way. So here's the thing. Is it the moral thing to do? No. But will court packing help you? Yes. Now, if a Republican, hypothetically, were to somehow get 4 new court seats, then yes. Even when the Democrats win again, then yes, they would be able to pack the court. Now, here's the thing. Well, then if we win again, then we get to pack the court again. No. Why? Well, look at this. Not disregarding how many seats in the Senate you need to actually like overturn the court or whatever, I don't care. The point is that the Democrats have the advantage over everything because not only do they control most institutions, but the time is on the Democrat side. Okay, so insofar as we are talking about immigration, the more immigration there is, the more we are going to have the Democrats winning because how the coalitions are is that the more white people typically means more Republican rule. So as we have a replacement or a dilution of the white votes through more immigration from the third world, the Democrats will be able to win more elections, right? So if hypothetically Joe Biden were to add 4 Supreme Court justices this year and make it 7-6, yeah, sure, a Republican might be able to win in 2024. And then they could switch it back and say, okay, we're going to add another 4 Republicans. But what's the problem with that? Well, then, keep adding immigrant. Then eventually, maybe it'll take 20 years for the Democrats to win again. But if and when they do, they can go ahead and do this bullshit that will be unprincipled, that will be immoral, that will be pragmatic, but more importantly, will actually be effective in cementing their power. So the important thing about court packing is not that, oh, it's immoral, because who gives a shit in politics about morality? Most people don't. The question is it in our best interest as Republicans to promote the court packing? No, it isn't. But for the Democrats, it makes complete sense because you might think you're smart, that you're in the bell curve and you're saying, you know what? well, if you pack the court, we'll pack the court. No. How it works in politics is that when they pack the court, we won't get to. Because by the time they add 4 justices, not only will they get a lot of stupid stuff through the Supreme Court, but they would also be able to use that as leverage for court cases in the future that would help cement their Democratic majority. With through more immigration, they will slowly keep winning more and more. Think about it this way: if we're taking in about about let's say 500,000 voters a year that are going to vote Democrat, it's only a matter of time until that amount will snowball into an amount that would make it so that we lose Texas and Arizona. Then we'd be screwed, more or less. So if that's the case, then we can't let them pack the Supreme Court. Now, if there were an immigration moratorium, this would be a completely different game theory. But insofar as the current situation is, it is in the Democrats' best interest to pack the court, and it is in the best interest of the Republicans to stop them. Even if packing the court for us would be beneficial in the short term, it wouldn't be in the long term because of immigration, okay? That's the changing electoral problem that we're facing. Now, insofar as we are talking about adding more seats, I don't care about the philosophy of, it's like whatever. The principle, that's boring to talk about. But politically speaking, it is in their best interest. Now, let's talk about current day. Current day, them promoting court packing is stupid. Not only would it lose them a couple of elections, it would also not pass the Senate with the 50 votes. And even if you only needed 50 votes, again, it would not pass. I'm pretty sure the threshold to actually pack the court would be over 60 votes or 66. And if that's the case, then it probably won't even pass for decades, either way. So they can go ahead and try to normalize court packing. It'll just backfire on them, and they can go ahead and look like dumbasses trying to push the Overton window, because it's not going to work for now. So that's what I got to say. Okay, so in summary, don't worry about court packing. It's not a big deal. It's not going to happen in the foreseeable future. And now you know why it's in their best interest to actually pack the court. Okay, disregarding obviously morality and principle, because politicians have none of that typically. So yeah, that's everything I'm going to say. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. Oh fuck, I need to get out of the Google Slides, my bad. Bye.